And away we go. So, before getting into the news, let's look through the group chats and stuff, and yeah, let's see what goes from there. Now, I've sent a lot of social media posts onto the group chat. Not that I agree with these people in any way. I just want to see how the lads react. Which be a lot. They just don't want to admit that. Especially in the case of looking incriminating into or in the eyes of particular groups of people that will use this kind of information against them. To be honest, I don't blame them. Nonetheless, let's take a look at these contents. So, most recent, a TikToker named Angry Reactions has posted a video talking about how an allegation regarding him putting his hand on the rear end of his then girlfriend, no longer together anymore, has sparked a wide variety of rumors and controversy, which has led to many people no longer want to be friends with him and losing endorsements that he had. Simply, his life has changed forever, ever since that allegation or stories about him doing something inappropriate to a woman had made a huge difference in his life. And it took a toll on him. In the video, he said that most of the content he had made before the allegations has been mostly positive. For him to be bombarded with so much negativity against him, he was not prepared for that. He really went through a lot. And later on in the investigation, turns out he was not guilty, he was innocent of whatever he was accused of with his ex-girlfriend. But even when he's innocent from these allegations and rumors, it really left an everlasting mark for Angry Reactions. He still lost many friends that I don't think he talks to anymore, I'd assume, and the endorsements he had before the allegations, they never reached back to him and say, "Hey man, we're sorry for letting you go. Hope you could forgive us and come back as our ambassador for our brand or something." None of that happened. So he had to start from square one again and trying to build himself back up. Now, of course, he also said in that video he's also doing more angry reactions towards videos, which wasn't really the thing he's doing to begin with. He did say he was doing mostly positive content before the rumors and allegations. However, after he was found innocent of all of that, he's now shifted towards doing, like his username suggests, angry reactions towards content. So yeah, it has made a difference on him. It's great to see Angry Reactions is okay, and is picking himself back up again, despite what he has been through. It has not been easy for him. Alright, next content I've sent in the chat is in regards to the UK local elections, and look, I'm not joking, I'm actually being serious. What I've listened to, like, what the heck? Why is this man even running, despite whatever he has done in the past? Put it briefly, the content I just watched and has sent to the group chat with lads to react. I'm trying to find his name without actually playing the video. Shahid Butt. Shahid Butt is intending to run in the local elections in Birmingham this year in 2026. The reason why this is controversial, according to the lad that has posted the video, TikTok username R Donaldson 34, he is a terrorist. That's what he said. He is a terrorist. He has done things in the UK which most people would consider a threat to national security. That's the brief of it. Now, most people think he's done something horribly wrong. He shouldn't be allowed to run in local elections. But yet, Shahid Butt is going to be running in local elections somewhere in Birmingham, and people are going to get the chance to vote for him if they want him to be their local councillor in whatever council he's running in. And he's not just a terrorist, he's been convicted. He is a convicted terrorist. He actually went to court for his actions. Yet he's still allowed to run in local elections in the UK anyway. To be honest, I'm not sure what else to tell people, or how to describe the situation in a way that a majority of people will be able to simply understand. He's not just convicted, he's also a convicted terrorist. He's likely done something that is a threat to national security in the eyes of most people. Surely, I know Eric and Risk are going to have a row with this one. They'll be outraged. They'll be absolutely pissed by whatever a council within Birmingham has allowed to run for local elections this year. Make of that information as you will. If you're not okay with this, then surely you have to speak out against it. Yet, and if there are people that have no issue whatsoever, you can run despite his convictions, his actions. Yeah, we may not be perfect, but we all make mistakes. We should allow him to run in local elections. I would be worried. Not just for the person who say that, but for everyone else in the UK. I've said enough. Alright. Another social media post I sent to the group chat with Eric and Risk for them to react to is a TikTok video by Thomas R. Pearson. And to put it simply, he's just talking about how majority of the world is somehow lacking the ability to think critically, as well as people who are adhering to particular confirmations in their own beliefs, no matter how many times they have been corrected or been given new information that otherwise contradicts their original beliefs. And despite all that, there are people in this world that still say, well, no, I still believe that we should say that the sky is green and the clouds are purple. There are people that actually believe something that may allegedly may not be true, yet when information does come out that everything that these people believe in is definitely not true, these people still believe, no, the sky is green and the clouds are purple, and and also the grass is blue as well. While we're at it, why? Why such people exist? For good grief! And it doesn't matter what, and it does not matter what the topic or discussion is. People are still in denial about the reality that we live in. So I agree with what Thomas Pearson said in regards to that, and yeah, that's not to say everyone is in denial with reality. It's just if there are people, which there will be, that are in denial of reality, and whatever information debunks any beliefs that may or may not be true, people still stick to those beliefs regardless. We have to ask ourselves, why are people like this? What's holding them back? Until we find a clear answer, we may never know. Next social media post I've shared to the lads for them to react to is an Instagram post by Infinity Minds AI. The caption in that video reads, Black Mirror imagined a tech future that now feels terrifyingly possible. And in this video, the context is this: there's this woman, she's distressed, talking to a man that is very frustrated with her for some reason. I'm not sure what the exact context in this Black Mirror episode is. All I know is the woman is distressed, the man is furious. The woman says, I'm gonna block you. Not on social media, in real life. This is an actual Black Mirror episode. And then the moment this woman presses whatever button on the remote that was just holding, pointing to the man that's frustrated, a silhouette, a grey, whitish silhouette forms around this frustrated man. And when this man tries to talk to that woman who can't actually see the full details of this frustrated man, she hears muffled speech from this man. So she can't hear this man clearly. She's wondering, what is he saying? Yeah, at the same time, the woman is just frightened. She does not want to talk to this man whatsoever. The same man that's been blocked physically in the real world, he then throws a vase or vase, whatever you like to call it, uh, towards a wall of the bedroom they were in with with a double side with a king size bed against that wall. So yeah, there's not to say that this technology will exist in the next year or maybe in the next decade. At some point, for some reason, someone in the World Economic Forum will say, you know what, I think we should introduce this new technology where you could just physically block people in the real world. It's getting too real for this world. Let's give people the ability to block people. You can't hear them speak, you can't see their exact details, nothing is there. If this technology was to come into existence, okay, I don't particularly give a damn. In fact, if technology like this does exist, I know exactly which groups of people in this world don't particularly like me. Not that I care about who hates me or who likes me. From my own personal experience, I had people blocking me on social media. I don't know what the reason is, why they blocked me, what even triggered them to block me in the first place. Somehow, from my own intuition and my own physical instinct, I had a feeling there are people in this world that have blocked me on social media. Now, my opinion, I think it's for the best. If these people don't want to talk to me, fine. They don't have to talk to me. In fact, maybe there's a reason that these people don't want to talk to me anymore. With fewer people for me to communicate with, opens more doors for me to talk to those who are okay with communicating with me. At least it gives me options to talk to people who are of the most compatible personality traits towards me. That's just my opinion. To see such technology like in this Black Mirror episode where you could just block people in the real world, creating a dark greyish silhouette around that person and not being able to hear what this person is saying, I think that's a great idea. At least for me it is. It'd be a great idea for me. At least I can see which groups of people I cannot see physically or hear, and I can say to myself, I knew it! I knew there's people that don't like me. Again, couldn't give any less of a damn about that. However, I will be somewhat happy in a bittersweet kind of way that I was right, that there are some people in this world that aren't going to like me. They don't like what I say, and they don't like what I do. And that is okay. I've gotten used to that in the last few years, so I don't know what is there for me to complain about. At least it's important that we're open and we're honest about our struggles, miscommunication, misunderstanding, and opinions of other people. So yeah, in my opinion, and just for me only, I would like to see this technology from the Black Mirror being implemented so at least I know exactly which groups of people are going to have a difficult time talking with me because there's something about me these people may not like. And again, it's okay. I'm used to this by now in the last few years, so being so accustomed to these, how do I call it, traits, habits, and standards in today's society, there isn't for me to complain about. I don't know why I should complain about it. I'm so used to that. Social media post I have sent onto the group chat for Eric and Risk to react is a woman talking about, well, at least the caption within that video or that TikTok video reads, actual conversations I've had with crazy non-Christians. And this woman briefly is talking about how Christians are persecuted, at least Christians in other countries outside of the Western world being persecuted for being Christian. And then this non-Christian character in that TikTok video argues, but you're in America, you're not being oppressed. And then the woman that is the Christian in that video, she says, well, yes, I'm not being oppressed because I'm in America. I'm okay to express my faith. I'm talking about Christians in other countries being persecuted for their faith. That's at least the rough context of that video on TikTok that I've watched. And I'm not saying I agree with this, but there was other points about, well, this non-Christian character in that video says, well, isn't that part of God's plan? And then that Christian woman said, excuse me, what? Well, if this is God's plan, she says, maybe you don't deserve to be forgiven. Again, that's what I've heard from that video. And then this Christian woman points out to, well, do you think the Holocaust was part of God's plan? Non-Christian woman says, well, no. Then why is it okay to say it's okay for Christians to be persecuted, but not Jewish people? The point I'm making is, says the Christian woman, no one should be persecuted for their faith, no matter what the faith is. And I agree with that. People are going to have different faiths. And of course, people of such faiths aren't going to agree with everything. That does not mean they should lose their lives or be oppressed for having such faiths. That I will leave at that. And it's not just people of different religious faiths. The same can be said for your race, ethnicity, the color of your skin, and even the country you're from. Regardless of what you identify as and what your ethnicity is, or what your ancestry is, no one should be oppressed, persecuted, nor should they ever lose their lives for being identified as such. Next video I have sent into the chat for Risk and Eric to react. 32-year-old software engineer in China just passed away from overwork, which was the caption within that Instagram video that at the start of that video I've sent to the lads. And it's just like what that first caption in the video says. A Chinese engineer, a software engineer, has passed away because he has worked so much overtime to get enough pay to get by with life. I'm not sure what the pay was. It was not mentioned in the video in question. Yet, majority of the pay that this Chinese software engineer was paid was based on his performance, not the minimum wage, which is the minimum expected for people to be paid according to federal/national law. And even though this Chinese engineer passed away, he was still being sent extra work to be done whilst he was in hospital trying to recover, which was not successful. He's lost his life. Yeah, he was still being sent stuff to do anyway. And because of his absence when he was in hospital, because he has worked so hard in his job, 7 people within the same company lost their jobs because of the Chinese software engineer who was not in work because he was in hospital due to issues relating to overwork in his profession. And then when the higher ups of this company found out that this Chinese worker is no longer alive and won't be able to ever come back again, his death was cleared out on Monday for another worker who had recently been hired to take over the same desk on Tuesday morning, all for the sake of keeping the flow of work and making sure the valuation of the company in China stay as high as it can be. So what does that say about how people in China are treated in regards to their work? I think people in China are likely overworked. Then again, the creator that made that video has argued that the hours that this Chinese software engineer had gotten is not as much compared to other software engineers in that same company, or even other workers in China. Even then, this software engineer in China has worked overtime for over 900 something hours. Now, there has to be a limit on how long people should work in a given week, or even a single day. There should be a limit on that. There should be a limit on how much time of work people should commit to. No one should just work constantly 24/7 just to get paid enough money to then cover the costs of necessities and the rent, electricity and gas, whatever other costs there are involved. There's a reason unions exist. It's so that problems like what happened with this man, this software engineer in China, does not happen anywhere else. That's why unions exist. This is why worker unions exist. Whilst it could be argued that people in worker unions may be asking too much of a high pay, they should at least be grateful that they can still go home each night, and should at least be grateful that even if they don't get their demands meet in regards to a higher wage, at least these workers in the Western world or other countries outside of China, they still be able to rest easy to refill their energy in preparation for the following day and continue with their work to the best of their ability with the energy that they have in their system. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for this Chinese software engineer. It's very unfortunate. And to that I say, rest in peace to the 32-year-old software engineer in China. I send my condolences to the friends and family of this software engineer in China. His name was not mentioned. Actually, I've got to check. What's his name? Oh, yes. Gao Guanghui. I'm butchered that, but I looked his name. His name is Gao Guanghui. Gao Guanghui. Rest in peace, Gao Guanghui. I send my condolences to his friends and family. So sad. Oh yeah, I need to send something. Alright, next video on social media I've sent to the lads. The caption that's within the video I've sent reads Israel flag emoji, Iran flag emoji. Israeli woman learned via news that she was killed in Iran. The plot twist is the person that was recording that video saying that this Israeli woman found out that she was killed in Iran. This woman who has found out that she was killed, which she is still alive, and then she's replying, "Hello, hello, I'm still alive." There's at least a rough translation in Hebrew that she said in Hebrew. And this woman in question, when she saw herself on the news that's been said that she was killed in Iran, she's reacting like, why are they saying I'm dead? I'm alive. What are they doing? Again, I'm not sure if that's what she exactly said. I don't speak Hebrew. Yeah, that's at least a rough reaction she has gotten when she reacted to herself, seeing that she was killed in Iran. Only to find out she's still alive because, wow, it's if this is part of Israel's propaganda, then Israel's not doing a very good job. I'm not saying it's true. If this was if this is part of Israel's propaganda, they are not doing a very good job. I'll leave it at that. It'd be pretty embarrassing if that was true. Alright. Next video, Revolution by Brazilian Congressman Nicolas Ferreira. I've actually heard about this before watching the video that I've sent to the lads. I have relatives in Brazil who have shared a story regarding to Nicolas Ferreira and his protests. Or at least I've seen a picture of Nicolas Ferreira with groups of people behind him, and then the caption in Portuguese. I don't know much Portuguese, but I know bits of it. It read, "This isn't about politics. I don't know the second part, but I know the first part said this isn't about politics. And you know what? I can't argue with that. And I know you're not even talking about the current Brazilian government. If people are seeing nationwide protests and across an entire nation, millions upon millions of people protesting for whatever reason, the government in question has to listen. Any attempts to downplay the message or say that the protest in question is not that important, the government currently in power is going to be on hot water. It's not going to be a good look if that is the case. All right, another video I've sent to the group chat to Eric and Risks to react. Instagram reel by Wealth, literally Wealth. The caption within the video reads, "This is what a futuristic home data center looks like." And this is like a massive computer data. I'm not sure what you describe, but you know these massive, you know the data centers that AI tech companies are building to power the AI chatbots. It is simply an in-home version of that, and it's just one of them that people can just buy for like maybe a couple £1,000, dollars, whatever currency. It's not too expensive, but it is certainly more expensive than a month's worth of groceries. That's for sure. I think it'd be a pretty cool idea if everyone had their own in-house data center, computer data. Again, I'm not sure what it's called exactly. If everyone had their own in-house home data center connected to the internet and other electrical appliances, it will save everyone the time to share their data with third parties, which is in itself a concern for everyone that cares about digital privacy and such. If this is possible for everyone to have something like this of their own, I'd be all for that. Oh my gosh, I sent a lot. And that is all I've sent so far. There is more, but there may not be enough time to get into all that. So, with that being said, let's get right into the news, or whatever news there is. Second Epstein victim claims she was sent to UK for sex with Andrew, lawyer says. The BBC reports a lawyer said a second woman alleges Jeffrey Epstein sent her to the UK in 2010 for a sexual encounter with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor at Royal Lodge when she was in her 20s. Following recent royal actions, the palace has said Their Majesties' thoughts and sympathies remain with victims and survivors of abuse after Andrew was stripped of his titles last year. Describing the encounter, Edwards said the woman spent the night at the former prince's home and was later given a tour of Buckingham Palace and tea, according to a lawyer. Brad Edwards said he may file a civil suit and has contacted US legal counsel for the former prince. BBC News sought comment Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who has not responded. Previous legal actions underscore Edwards' representation of more than 200 Epstein survivors and Virginia Giuffre's 2022 civil lawsuit settlement, highlighting ongoing legal implications. Andrew's in hot water, much more so than he is now. And it just comes to show, if you don't want people finding out about what you have done in the last few years, you shouldn't have done it to begin with. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is no different. Shouldn't have done it to begin with. He done it anyway. And the thing is, he is a royal. He is born into royalty. He didn't have to do anything to get to where he is now. He was literally born into it. He didn't have to do anything. to reach the luxury living that he's living now. He's there because he was born into it. The fact that he was involved with anything Epstein related is just stupid. It's it's disgusting and messed up. Still very stupid. Didn't have to do any of that stuff with Epstein. The only people who would do such a thing is if they started from the bottom and they were very desperate to get to the very top, and they now live in the life of luxury. Andrew was born into that lifestyle. His mother paid victims to not speak out on this. Since now, his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, is no longer alive anymore. Who's going to bail Andrew out now? It won't be Charles III, nor any other of the royals in Buckingham Palace. It's not looking good. Carlos Alcaraz becomes youngest career Grand Slam winner. Wow, good for him. On Sunday, February 1st, 2026, Carlos Alcaraz beat Novak Djokovic 2-6, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5 at Melbourne Park to win his first Australian Open and complete a career Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic entered the final chasing an unprecedented 25th major to break the all-time record he shared at 24, having won all 10 of his previous Melbourne Park tennis finals, with both finalists reaching the decider after grueling 5-set semi-final victories against Alexander Zverev and Jannik Sinner. The match lasted just over 3 hours, with Alcaraz converting 5 of 16 break points and Djokovic 2 of 6, as the 22-year-old now has 7 major titles. Alcaraz's victory makes him the 9th man to complete a career Grand Slam, while Djokovic's first loss in a Melbourne final blocks his pursuit of a milestone 25th major. Djokovic, quipped about a decade-long rivalry, addressed Rafa Nadal in the stands, saying, "I want to speak to the legendary Rafa, who is on the stands," and Alcaraz signed the TV camera lens with "Job finished." Oh boy, what a final that was. It was going to happen. Not saying I wanted it to happen. With so much at stake, winning many titles at multiple tennis competitions, it does make sense. It comes to a point. Someone is going to achieve a Grand Slam in their career. And he did just that. So congratulations, Carlos. Enjoy it while it still lasts. There's much more that's yet to come for him. China new home prices rise in January as government signals support, private survey says. On February 1st, China Index Economy reported that average new home prices in 100 cities rose 0.97% month-on-month, with resale declines narrowing according to Reuters in Beijing. The Three Red Lines policy led to a 2021 liquidity crunch and defaults, prompting Beijing to call for faster sector support during a profound adjustment this year. First and second-tier cities including Chengdu, Shanghai, Hangzhou saw high-end upgraded housing projects lift prices, while third and fourth-tier cities faced monthly and annual price declines. Homebuyer and investor confidence slumped as unfinished apartments hit the Chinese economy, while Vanke, state-backed developer, faces mounting debt pressures. Following the survey, renewed government pledges to stabilize the sector and local media reports ending Three Red Lines monthly reporting signal policy shifts, while sales are likely to slow for the Spring Festival holiday, the research firm said. So all I'm getting is there's an upgrade in the housing market in China, and because of these upgrades, along with some other projects that are yet to be finished, prices are on the rise. Which, not surprised. Surely it comes to a point if a lot of people in China want to get their hands on new housing, of course the prices of those homes are going to go up ever so slightly. Even if prices do go up, at some point they're going to go down. When, at what point that will happen, we'll just have to wait and see. And this is not to say that China is going to make a rise as the next dominant nation in the world, or they will have dominance on other nations. That China's doing quite well in concealing whatever is going on. And the thing is, actually no. Well, I'll leave it to the listeners. Comment below what you think is going to happen next with whatever the world events are going on. I don't have much else to say on this. So long as people in China can afford these new homes, the rising in prices, that's not that big of a deal. Although we do have to question if it does continue, will this prevent Chinese people from even affording their homes, or preventing them to afford new homes? There's so much land in China, so even if there is a housing crisis, like there aren't enough homes being built in China, just move eastwards. There's so much untapped land for new housing, new businesses, new cities, perhaps. So even if rising in house prices are a problem in China, the best way to solve it is to look eastwards to see if there is any space for new homes to be built eastwards of existing major cities in China, how much time it would be needed to build those new homes, and will there be enough in the next few years, given that China continues to grow in their population, if their population is growing at all. I've said a lot about China. I'll just leave it at that. UK's top 100 taxpayers contribute £5.76 billion, Sunday Times tax list shows. The Sunday Times tax list shows this year Fred and Peter Dunn, founders of Betfred, paid an estimated 400.1 million among 100 individuals, contributing £5.758 billion in UK tax. Higher corporation tax rates under the Labour government increased many tax bills, and the Sunday Times tax list compiles liabilities from corporation tax, dividend tax, capital gains tax, income tax, and some payroll taxes using the most recently filed company account. Household names appearing include Tom Morris and family of Home Bargains, who paid $209.1 million last year, along with J.K. Rowling and Ed Sheeran. I see. That's a lot of money. So much money that billionaires are contributing toward paying their taxes to the UK government. And whilst I would say the billionaires have too much money in their pockets, it would be nice if that money's put to good use besides, well, being in their accounts. That money is then put towards a meaningful cause, like helping families get out of poverty, build new hospitals, funding emergency services. Money that goes towards helping everyday people in local communities across the nation. Surely that sounds like the sensible thing to do. Except, even if it is true, not much of what taxes are paid from taxpayers across the UK actually goes towards such services. Again, they do, just not as much as people want them to be. The taxes go to other things like building the roads, which is also important, the military, keeping the BBC up and running. What else from the top of my head can I think of? The nationalised rail service, which is still in the process of being renationalised from private operators. And not to mention, there's some money in the taxes that's been paid by taxpayers across the UK, which then actually be allocated to selected devolved mayoralships, which then they would use that money to be contribute towards providing services and other expenses for communities within said devolved authority, whether it be Greater Essex, Greater Manchester, Greater London, somewhere in the northeast, the southwest, if that has been established yet, Greater Lincolnshire, Cambridgeshire. That's just from the top of my head. I'm not sure if there's any other ceremonial counties that even have devolved mayoral authorities yet. If not, well, we're yet to see if such ceremonial counties do get their devolved mayoral authorities, which they will. It's just going to take a few years to get to that point. And I'm not going to defend the current UK government for delaying local elections in the name of redrawing local government lines and redistricting local authorities. As important as it is, don't still don't cancel local elections. You got to give people a voice. And if people want a change in government in the local authorities, then allow people to do so. It shouldn't be that hard. Why should it be that hard? I guess we'll just never know. We'll never know. That is all we have for this episode.